must be happening to me. I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did, Valerie. You accepted a ride from a murderer.
Wanda! Wanda! Are you all right?
Sure, I was just daydreaming. How's everything?
Oh, Tommy's in the hole. Susie is in the infirmary. What can I tell you? How did it go?
Oh, it was just perfect. Daddy had a bad cold, so I took care of him, and we talked, and we made lots of plans. We even went to the movies.
Yeah.
It was just like I hoped it would be.
Well, welcome back, Juanita.
She graduated with honors in music. She's never been in trouble a day in her life. She never saw that boy before.
He knew who she was right away. He called her by her name.
They couldn't have really known each other. She would have told me.
Mrs. Smith, is it true that your daughter was arrested for smoking pot?
My daughter was never arrested. She was detained for questioning with a bunch of kids who were on a picnic. One of the other girls was found with marijuana.
Valerie did not use drugs.
Well, how do you know that? You testified that there were things about Valerie that nobody knew. She kept things to herself.
Well, that's true, but I would have known if she was using drugs.
Well, what about her having an affair with a boy? Would you have known about that?
Well, probably. But the point is that she didn't...
Are you willing to testify under oath that Valerie Smith did not know Buddy Galetta?
I couldn't swear to.
Look, all I know is what I heard. She said she never met him before.
Thank you. That'll be all.
And he said she did, and she was trying to keep her love life a secret.
That'll be all.
He drives up with her in the van, and he introduces her to me as his old lady.
Did she protest this introduction? Did she deny it?
No.
They walked into the store hand in hand. Then they whispered together. Then she walked over to the book rack to look out.
Objection.
Sustained. Witness will refrain from drawing his own conclusions as to the actions of the accused.
You passed me with that one, Your Honor. I mean, you want me to tell you what I saw? I'll tell you. Those two kids walked into that liquor store together.
Objection.
They stuck up the joint.
Objection.
Then they killed a man.
Objection.
Together.
Move to strike the answers as a conclusion by the witness.
I regret that we have had to meet again so soon, Tommy, and under these circumstances.
Mr. Watkins, I'm really sorry about what I did. I know better. I used my time and meditation to think about my attitude, and believe me, I'll never mess up like that again.
Well, I certainly hope not, Tommy. It is the recommendation of this board that you spend one additional year in this program.
That's all for now, Tommy. Thank you.
He had a gun in my ribs when we walked into the liquor store. Now, maybe the man couldn't see it, but he did have it. You see, when I realized that he was on drugs or something, I tried to get out. He wouldn't let me. I don't know why he's making up this story about my being with him. I wasn't his girlfriend. I never had sex with him. I never saw him before.
Valerie and I used to get together after school At her house when her mother was at work. Nobody ever knew I had another girl. Valerie, she had a thing about me for a long time. And we never meant to kill that man. Now, that was a terrible accident. Something neither of us will ever forget. Or forgive ourselves for, the robbery. That whole thing started out as a joke. A dare. She kept challenging me, telling me I didn't have enough guts to pull out the gun.
It's not true. He's lying. He's lying.
Due to the conflicting testimony in this case, I've examined every word that's been said in this courtroom with utmost care. I've read the psychiatric evaluation and considered the recommendation of the probation department. Putting it all together and considering the seriousness of the crime and what I consider to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant's participation in it, I find no recourse but to select a maximum security program for Miss Smith. Valerie Smith, please rise. It is the disposition of this court that you be committed immediately to the custody of the State Youth Authority, San Marcos School for Girls, for an indefinite term, the length of which to be determined by the Youth Authority.
Night, Ben.
Mr. Feiner.
Yes, Ben.
About the appeal. Did you know that it's going to take some court stenographer 6 weeks to get it typed?
Yes, Ben.
Well, damn it, I don't want an innocent kid doing dead time in San Marcos for 6 weeks while some bureaucratic juvenile court secretarial pool is learning how to use an electric typewriter.
What would you suggest as an alternative?
Why did the judge do it? There are other programs. And why San Marcos? No priors, nothing. Why did he crucify her?
Have you read the papers lately? It's the same every day. Juvenile crimes pronounced epidemic. 35% of the major crimes in the city are committed by juveniles. It's called public pressure, my friend. It's called cracking down.
It's called horse manure. You want statistics? I'll give you statistics, Mr. Feiner. These are the latest figures from the Department of Commerce on how we spend our money. 14 billion on alcohol, 9 billion on tobacco, 2 billion on pets. But on children in reform schools, 200 million. That's 90% less than we spend on our dogs and cats.
What do you expect me to do?
The school is a place where you don't have a face, where the welcome you get is a cold steel embrace. Where they tell you what's real, but you don't know for sure, 'cause the mean-hearted thrive on the weak and the poor.
That's weird, you know? I mean, that's really weird.
Oh, come on now, stop it.
Oh, Wanda, really?
No, Wanda, that's all right. Jamie has a right to her opinion.
And Angel has a right to hers.
What is weird, Jamie?
When the mean-hearted thrive on the weak and the poor, that sounds like they eat them or something.
Well, don't they?
Come in, girls. Come in, sit down. That's all right. Come in. These young ladies just came in from orientation. Which one of you is Valerie?
I am.
And you must be Sarah? Come in. Come on. Sit over here, right here on the floor. That's right.
Little chickens. Hey, chickens, welcome to the roost.
Well, what do the rest of you think about Angel's poetry?
Was a downer, man.
No, I think she was really trying to say something.
Well, then don't you think it would have been better if she would have just come right out and said it in plain English?
I think she did.
That's because you are looking for negativity, Tommy. Angel, I don't think I should encourage this sort of thing. We're not an amateur writing club. We're here to talk about our feelings.
Man, there is some I would like to talk about right now.
Fine, go ahead.
You turn my gut, and you make me feel like a worm. I hate you.
That little outburst will cost you 3 early beds, Angelita.
Ay, ¿qué me importa a mí? No me moleste más. What's the difference?
Mrs. Turner, that was so mean what you just said to her.
You're crazy, Polsky. Well, ever since you came back from that visit with your aunt, you've been really spaced out.
Look, just because I can still feel things doesn't mean I'm crazy. I think you're crazy when you can't feel things like you can't, Kurosawa.
Oh, is she beautiful? Old Nickelback over there. 16 years old. Every vein in her body collapsed.
Susie.
She's gonna tell me about feelings.
Susie.
Yeah, Wanda, why don't you tell us what it feels like when the needle goes in, huh?
That'll be enough, Noreen.
Get off my back, Turner.
Well, as you can see, Valerie and,
Sarah.
Can't she speak for herself?
Well, yes, but you...
As I was saying, this is the place to, let it all hang out, as you girls would say. This room. Nowhere else.
Show me the finest, most modern reform school in the world, and I'll show you a revolving door where one third of the kids that are released are back within a year.
So?
They don't work. You know that, Tom. They don't work.
Is that something new?
Ben. Could we talk about something else for a change?
I had this case. I really wanted to win this one. A kid, a little girl, faced with being sent to San Marcos. No prize, nothing. I want to get some facts, figures, back up my plea for probation, right? Well, I find 8 books of research on the raising of pigs. But on juvenile justice, 1. Now, a guy who wants to raise pigs, or wheat, or corn, you can't mess with. He's a farmer. He's got a lobby. But the poor little bastards who fill our court, they got zilch, man.
So what happened to your case?
What do you think?
Sarah? Sarah? Sarah?
Valerie? Is that you, Valerie?
Yeah, I'm right next door. Are you okay?
Sure. I'm terrific.
When did you go into orientation?
Same time you did. But I was in the infirmary the whole time.
How come?
'Cause